I want to thank you all for being here today. My name is Bob Foster. I'm the mayor of the city of Long Beach, California, and I'm also a trustee of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Mayors from all over this great state have assembled here today to talk about the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program, just energy block grants. Now, this is a program that started in 2007, and it delivers funds directly to cities to be able to improve their energy efficiency, reduce their carbon footprint, and, as important, create new jobs in our community. I'll just give you a little background in this real quickly. The program was originally thought of in 2005 when the U.S. Conference of Mayors launched its Climate Protection Agreement. The Climate Protection Agreement is a landmark measure that across the country, the U.S. Conference of Mayors initiated. It began with 141 mayors. It now has 1,044 mayors that have signed on to the Climate Protection Agreement, committing to reduce our carbon footprint in each one of our communities. And the block grant program, Energy Block Grant Program, is an integral part of that. It gives us the resources to reduce our energy consumption and reduce our carbon footprint. And as I said, it also creates jobs. It has been the result of a lot of people working together, but I do need to thank the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, who worked hard to make this program a reality, and it would not be here today except for her efforts. So on behalf of America's cities, I want to thank the Speaker for her commitment and her diligence, and without Ms. Pelosi's help, as I said, this would not be here. I also want to thank President Obama and his administration for his support of this program, as well as the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, which has also helped fund a number of efficiency projects in all of our cities. So, as I said, we're here as communities to work for efficiency and reduce our carbon footprint. In my city, we're investing about $4 million to accelerate prior city efforts to reduce energy efficiency in our city structures as well as some of our residential buildings. And we'll hear in a moment from the mayors of other cities about what they are doing. But this program is exactly what we need to continue. It is really the only major funding source we have to be able to improve our efficiency and work on climate change issues, particularly by reducing our carbon footprint. As mayors, we know that a successful plan for reducing U.S. energy consumption is grounded in local action, and all across this country it's been demonstrated that local governments can take action that is effective and that not only reduces our impact on the environment, but also puts people back to work. So we've been leading the nation in this effort, and I have to tell you, this has been an innovative program that provides the flexibility needed for local governments. And it's the kind of thing that really must be carried on in the future. I now would like to introduce a friend of mine, and no stranger to all of you, San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom, who's going to discuss what things have been going on right here in San Francisco with this program. Gavin?
Thank you, Mayor Foster, and thank you for your stewardship and leadership in bringing us all together. Tom Cochran, the head of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, for all your work and your leadership on this, and thank all the mayors that are here and all of you for taking the time to be here. Look, from our perspective, few things more important than this, and that is jobs. And at the end of the day, really what we're talking about, why we've convened, what we're organizing around is job creation and job growth, economic development, and reducing the costs not only to government, but reducing the cost to individuals, to businesses, large and small, that want to reduce their energy bills. At the same time, we advance our environmental principles and advance our collective goals in terms of environmental stewardship. As many of you know, San Francisco has a local global climate action plan. Basically, all that is the formal plan that the 1,043 other mayors have signed to roll back our greenhouse gas emissions 20% below 1990 levels by 2012. As a lot of the local press knows, we've already reduced our greenhouse gas emissions 7% below 1990 levels. We achieved that in 2008. We've done that through no small part in terms of that reduction, of advancing the principles that we're organizing around. That's energy efficiency. That's the low-hanging fruit. That's the easy part of this effort. we have some very ambitious goals nationwide to roll back roughly 80% of that CO2 by 2050. About half of that, most objective analysis that's been done shows that half of that can be achieved through energy efficiency. So you don't need something of order of magnitude, just common sense. It's swapping out that light bulb. It's doing some weatherization. It's taking that old boiler and replacing it. It's taking that caulk gun and using it in a different way. And that's what's so frustrating in some respects about all this, is that it's so obvious and it's so easy, yet we weren't necessarily achieving our goals until the President and Speaker Pelosi and others came together, and Kathy's leadership in partnership with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and demanded that we get some block grants like we do for community development. We needed some energy development block grants, and we needed some autonomy, and with that some accountability, the ability to use those grants in a strategic way and plug gaps from, as Mayor Foster was saying, some of the existing programs we already had in place. Let me conclude by making a jobs case, and I was making this just a moment ago, and why this matters. We get about $7.7 million in this block grants in the city, and we're using that Jobs Now program, the federal subsidy for direct jobs. Those 3,600 jobs we created, they're going out and doing energy audits. So we're taking one pot of ERA dollars and using it to advance another pot. So we're doing free energy audits, and then we're using all these grants, and then we're providing the resources for folks once they do the audit to actually swipe out those bulbs and deal with their boilers and deal with other issues. But here's the big idea, and this is something I don't think gets enough attention. If we put $1 billion, you don't need to take $1 billion and spend it. You can leverage the dollars. You can just take a percentage of those $1.5 trillion. Arguably, it's up to $1.8 trillion that's locked there, all these banks have, just sitting there on the sidelines. You could take less than 10% of that money just to leverage that money as guarantees, like we do Small Business Association loan, SBA loans, and start getting people to work today on energy efficiency and create real jobs. Here's how we do it. You get $1 billion, I was just making this case, and you invest it into coal, you'll generate about 870 jobs. Sounds great until you consider you could generate 1,000 to 1,500 jobs in nuclear energy. But if you want to really create more jobs and wealth and opportunity, invest in solar, that's 1,900 jobs, wind, about 3,300 jobs. But the big game changer is energy efficiency and retrofitting green buildings. 7,000 jobs for that $1 billion invested. You don't have to go out of pocket with, again, that $1 billion. You can just use the money that's sitting in all these financial institutions, like we do SBA grants, and guarantee those loans and get people back to work doing the energy efficiency work that all these mayors are doing quite successfully. And you do it in the one area, and that's in rural and suburban areas, not just these big metro urban areas, where the unemployment is the highest in those rural and suburban areas. Get people to work, particularly those in the building and constructions trades, those that have the highest rates of unemployment. That's the opportunity, and that's really what we're trying to communicate and what we're trying to organize around. This is a win on all fronts, and this is being demonstrated successfully, and again, cities large and small across the country. This is really one of, I think, the great successes of the stimulus program, is that orientation around the jobs component of this green economy. And again, I want to just thank everybody who's here, and thank Kathy and her team for their stewardship and leadership, and thank Mayor Foster for helping bring all of you here to our city, city and county of San Francisco. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Newsom. I'd like to now bring to the podium our partner in this program, who administers the Energy Block Grant Program, Assistant Secretary for Efficiency and Renewables, Kathy Zoe.
Thank you, Mayor Foster. Thank you, mayors. And thank you all for coming. 3 quick points. One, on behalf of the President and Secretary Chu, let me just underscore that energy efficiency is central to the economic recovery from our perspective. We absolutely need to lean into all the energy efficiency potential. Americans spend right now about $1.1 trillion a year on the utility bills in their businesses and their homes. Let's just say we can become 20% more efficient. That's $200 billion that we can save. We can create jobs while we're doing it. As Mayor Newsom just said, for every billion that gets invested, 7,000 jobs. Well, this program has already created thousands of jobs, and it's going to go on to create more. Second point, we love our partnership with the mayors. The mayors are at the coalface. The mayors are working directly and investing money in cities, on the ground, in city buildings, and in schools, and in communities across this country. This EECBG program has 2,350 grantees from across America. that are already have 4,000 projects underway this summer demonstrating that investments in clean energy, investments in energy efficiency help economies and create jobs. And the third thing is, watch what the projects are. Some of them are wildly innovative, and some of them just make good sense. Putting sensible, money-saving light bulbs where they should have gone, as Mayor Newsom said, maybe a long time ago but never had. Putting new LED technologies into traffic lights, which saves a whole lot of energy and actually creates safer streets. There are literally thousands of projects underway, and I would urge you all to take note of what those projects are, share information. We in Washington are very, very excited about EECBG. We're excited about our partnership with the mayors. We're very, very excited about the energy savings that are going to come from this program and going on into the future. Thank you all.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And finally, we'll have another mayor address you about what's going on in her city, and that's Celine Schneider from the city of Santa Barbara.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak here, and thank Mayor Newsom for your leadership from the beginning. And that as this moves on into Assistant Secretary Zoe, that hopefully we can see some allocations of new funds after the first round is moved around, because that's really important for Congress to see the investment of this, not just an expenditure. Just an example, the city of Santa Barbara is a little under 100,000 people. Our formula funding is about $868,000. With those funds, we did some lighting efficiency projects in 4 parks, as well as some HVAC, which is heating, ventilating, and air conditioning retrofits in 8 different city buildings. And the parks alone are saving 140,000 kilowatt hours annually, and a savings of $88,000. The EECBG grants, coupled with some other funding we did with our municipal building energy audits, is saving us $150,000 in our general fund. And one of the things I want to bring up is, along with the jobs that are being created with these projects, when I came in this morning and met with a number of mayors, the first question on everyone's mind has been, how's your budget doing? What's going on with your citywide budget and your general funds? What's happening with your public safety, your public works, your parks and recreation? And if they're in our city, if we're able to save $150,000 a year, that would have gone to paying for our energy bills that now we can put into police officers, firefighters, to public works, to parks and recreation, going to the services that, municipal services that people have come to expect. That is helping us getting over this recession, on top of giving private care jobs, and on top of saving energy at the same time. So it's a great program. We need to keep it coming to the cities, and I really appreciate the leadership here in the U.S. Conference of Mayors for having this meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Schneider. I want to appreciate all of you coming today. Are there any questions from anyone? Yes.
Okay, Deborah Kahn with Greenwire. I was just wondering about, speaking of leveraging grants, what's happening with the property assessed clean energy loans, and can some of that money maybe come to this program instead?
Can you repeat that? I didn't get all that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe someone else.
Just the PACE program. Look, we just passed with a lot of fanfare, but no follow-up, not because of good intentions, but because of Fannie and Freddie. And I was going to use the wrong adjective. Their unwillingness to be supportive of the program. They're wrong. The president is right. Congress, by and large, is right, and all these mayors are ready to go to do what Secretary, and this all started in Berkeley. First PACE program, small version, was done in Berkeley a number of years ago, and it's as simple as this. Look, you can't afford, the federal government's not going to provide enough resources, so how do you finance those upgrades? You can finance them against an assessment on your property that's amortized over the life of your mortgage in a way that could substantially unleash billions and billions of dollars for the retrofitting of buildings, not just commercial but residential PACE programs. Ours was the largest in the United States at the time. We had passed over $150 million appropriation for our PACE program. We were lined up, ready to go. We had dozens and dozens of people that had already gotten approval, and boom, the word came out that Fannie and Freddie are no longer going to recognize this and no longer allow these because of subordinate issues as it relates to first liens, et cetera. I won't bore you with it, but this is one of the most powerful and significant things we can do to unleash this green economy, and it's in the hands of the folks that are there, that are running Fannie and Freddie, and we need to see something change quickly. Our Attorney General, Jerry Brown, filed suit. To his credit, mayors across the country are lending a voice, as well as governors. Again, we've got a sympathetic ear from the administration and the department. We just need some folks there to right this wrong.
Any other questions? Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.